Allison, what made you choose a career in academia?
I defaulted to academia. I certainly applied for jobs in both industry and academia is what was available at the time. I like academia because it gives me the freedom to do what I want in terms of research. Industry, in particular, you'd have to do what the bottom line dictates. So sales is really what's important in industry. I think another best choice for me would have been someplace like US Arium, but again, the research there is still, kind of specific. So if someone wants to research the best thing for them or what their primary interests are, then academia may be the way to go.
Now, when you were finishing your doctorate and thinking about a postdoc, what made you choose a postdoc and then also choose where you wanted to go?
I think the field is going to a place where we all need postdocs right now. When I was first starting working with Dr. Hamill, postdocs weren't really a normal thing, but I think they're becoming the norm, and I think they're becoming a little bit necessary in our field. I think they're a really great idea because it gives you the opportunity to learn a new skill and develop your knowledge base and your skill base. I picked doing a postdoc at UMass because it was the perfect fit for me in terms of my life circumstances at the moment. So it was the best choice for that, as well as being able to learn something new and develop my skills at UMass in addition to meeting those life circumstances needs. So it's basically okay to pick a place based on what's best for you and your family at the time. So it's okay to say no to someplace or not look everywhere if it's not going to be the best thing for you and your family.
We know we're in a very interesting funding climate right now, and it gets harder and harder by the day. So what have you found to be successful strategies for attaining funding between collaboration and also at the same time pushing your research forward with limited funding available?
So the bottom line is that you want to make yourself as competitive as possible. So ask for help, have people read your grants, get feedback, go to the workshops that might be available on campus or through webinars. Thinking outside of the box in terms of other maybe non-traditional funding sources or private funding sources, maybe those smaller funding sources should certainly be the first place you go rather than NSF or NIH. Those more typical places where we think that should be the place where we want to go, that's what's going to get me tenure. Even those new investigator awards are going to be looking for some sort of record of publication. So you need to do what you can to get published first. So one of the best things that you can do to get a grant is to publish as much as you can in that area before you go for those bigger awards. But certainly that's a chicken before the egg thing. How are we able to do our studies before we get our funding? So that's just a matter of being creative.
Question I want to ask you, and I think this as a grad student, you see your advisor stressing out a lot, but how do you balance high-level research with trying to be a good teacher as well as performing service for the society as well as your university?
Every junior faculty member, probably in their first 3 years, should say no to everything they possibly can. If you haven't heard that yet, you're going to hear it a million times moving forward, but saying no to service responsibilities that come your way unless you absolutely have to say yes is probably the best way to go. If you're trying to figure out which service responsibilities that you should say yes to, go towards ones that get your name out there, whether that's through the school or college that your department is in, across campus, but even across the profession as well. I think one of the best things that we can do for all of these areas is to set timers and to kind of lower our expectations. And set limits for yourself. So don't accept every single journal article review that comes your way. Make a limit, say 1 or 2 a month, and only say yes if it's exactly in your wheelhouse and not something that you're less familiar with. I mean, that's what we should be doing anyway, but that's another way to be really critical about what we say yes to in terms of service and those literature reviews or those article reviews that come our way. For teaching, it's kind of sad to say, but do as little as possible. Don't reinvent the wheel every semester. Just try to get a good base and move forward with that. Don't try to change too much semester to semester until after you get tenure. I think that's where a lot of people get stuck, is that teaching trap, and that's what really pulls our time away from research the most, I'd say. So being very careful and setting timers and lowering our expectations for that, I think is a good way to limit how much time we devote to teaching. At the grad level, you can use teaching to get research done as well. So you can kind of put two things into one project. So what I do as the only biomechanist at IU, I have to teach my grad students something. So instead of developing a class, I will have them do a research project that teaches them that graduate level biomechanics concept while they're doing a study. So not only is the student learning a new thing, but they're also applying that new thing in a real world way immediately. And I think that helps to get that information, that new knowledge really ingrained and understood more so than just sitting in a classroom. The bottom line for everything is that we just need to publish. So anything that we can do to steer our teaching or even service into what will help us get more publications, I think should be the focus for everyone in academia.